And so, before we fully dive in, let me introduce myself. I am Michel Alexiev, and I'm an entrepreneur, NLP trainer, and purpose coach. Life has put quite a few roadblocks on my path, on my road, and I learned how to eliminate them or how to navigate around them and take things into my own control, take control over my own life. Things took a radical change when I was 22 years old. I was in the south of Spain and I got hit by a very drunk driver. I remember getting out of the car and closing the door and then squeaking wheels and a bang, and then I look back and this car comes at high speed straight at me. I jump out of the way over the hood, and then boom. And then it was suddenly quiet. I was somewhere in a beautiful space, very warm, very welcoming. Felt great. It felt like coming home to mama, so safe, so loving, serene, but yet so very powerful and strong at the same time and full of depth and wisdom. I remember wondering, where am I? I was like floating in space, and it was just air and one with everything. I was floating there for I don't know how long because there was no sense of time. I remember thinking how good I felt here. Felt so one with everything. And this experience was so profound and overwhelming and felt so powerful and familiar and full of wisdom that I really felt like coming home and being at home. And then I looked down and I suddenly saw myself lying on the floor. There were people all around me and there was panic, but the sound was really dimmed. And I was wondering, hey, that's me, but I'm here. So who am I if I'm here and I'm lying there unconsciously on the floor? I couldn't really understand it, but I was me. I was very much me. So I was a little bit confused how that was possible, that I was in this beautiful space and yet I saw myself or my body lying on the floor. And then suddenly something said into my ear that you need to go back, Michel. You still have a life to live. And before I knew it, I was back in my body as if I had put on a glove. And they took me off to the hospital, and the ambulance was there and, took me to the operation room. And the next thing I know was I woke up in the ICU and had a long operation, and they managed to get me out of life danger, but I was badly hit. And they tried saving my leg because my left leg was mainly badly hit, and they couldn't hold on. After a couple of operations, I had 10 operations in a very short period, but in the end they had to take it off. And that was quite a hard pill to swallow, but it also gave me a lot of strength because I felt a lot of connection in that space or from that space where I had been. It had given me so much strength, so much calmness, so much faith that everything would be okay. It felt tremendous, and it pulled me like an invisible hand through my entire recovery and the years after that, until now actually. And my accident and my near-death experience gave me a few very valuable life lessons, a few that I just briefly want to share here with you. It learned me all about acceptance, accepting myself, the situation that I was in, and myself as I was for who I am. Just accepting myself. And with acceptance, I learned comes great liberation because it opens the door to self-love, because you learn to love yourself more because you've accepted everything about yourself, and you can love others more easily because you love yourself already, and you're less susceptible to the judgment of others. I learned about forgiveness. I forgave the guy who took my leg, the very drunk guy who took my leg, fairly quickly already when I was still in the hospital. I learned about forgiveness because I understood that forgiveness is the biggest gift that you can give yourself. I learned that we are resilient beings, that we have a tremendous inner strength, and that we are capable to handle any major blow that life throws at us. We have that power within us, and if we connect with that we can handle everything and come out on top. I have learned that we are so much more than just our thoughts and emotions, and that we have a soul, that we have an inner being that is so powerful, that is strong, that has a lot of wisdom, and that has, brings along a lot of calmness and serenity, and that's all inside of us. I don't just believe that anymore. I know it to be true because I experienced it. What I experienced out there is inside of us. And it's inside of all of us. And lastly, I learned to listen to my inner voice, to that voice that never lies to me. And I learned not to listen so much to other people or what other people are telling me what I cannot do. I've been told so many things that I could not do after my accident anymore, but I refused to believe these other people, but I just trusted what I believed myself. And I pushed myself with a vision and with a desire. I pushed myself way out of my boundaries, and I started doing all kinds of sports that I was told I could not do. I started to play tennis, I played squash, I started skiing on one leg, later on two legs, and started running and done all kinds of sports that people told me I could not do. But I did them, and I know that I listen to my inner voice, and that always tells you the truth. And so maybe you too have been told certain things that you cannot do. Don't believe others. Don't let them project their limiting thinking upon you. Always trust on that inner voice that you have deep inside of you. It is there. It is you, and it comes from your deeper essence. Have trust and faith in that.